Dan bi kar začeli, ker je ura že 12:02, tako da bomo vse v roku izvedli. Lepo pozdravljeni na panelu, ki se imenuje Med mestom in podeželjem na Goriškem, izbrane teme v luči raziskav in razstavnega koncepta. 4 referate bomo imeli, prvo bo v angleščini, ostali 3 v slovenščini, tudi na koncu, ko bo vprašanje, če bo za kolego Čekovinija, ga postavite v angleščini, prosil je pa, da bi on odgovarjal v italijanščini, samo počasi. Torej, prvi referat bo imel kolega dr. Riccardo Ceccovini, ki je doktoriral leta 2017 z naslovom s področja zgodovine družb, institucij in misli. Sicer se ukvarja z historično topografijo in okoljsko zgodovino, nekaj časa je pa v sklopu doktorata bil tudi pri nas na ZRC SAZU in sicer na Inštitutu za arheologijo. In sicer bo njegovo današnje predavanje imelo naslov Border Historiography, Methodological Approaches and State of Research and Studies of Medieval Gorizia. Prosim.
Hvala in dober dan vsem. Buongiorno a tutti and good morning everyone. Just a moment. So, the starting point of our historiographical analysis is represented by the production of historical text in the Veneto-Friuli area between the 15th and 17th centuries. We can recall authors such as Giovanni Candido, Commentarium Aquileiensium Libri Octo, 1521, among the very first scholars who mentioned the document of 1001, with which Ottone III donated half of a castle of Siliganum and half of a villa of Gorizia to the Patriarch Giovanni. Among the authors of this period, however, the medieval history of Gorizia appears marginal compared to the main area of investigation, the history of Friuli, and therefore the history of the Patriarchate of Aquileia. Just as there is little interest in the Slavs who inhabited the lands beyond the Isonzo, Gorizia is often remembered as the heir of the ancient Noreia. A detailed study of medieval historiography of Gorizia and Friuli has been undertaken by Neva Makuz. Martin Bautzer must be considered the first historian who produced a text about the history of the homeland of Gorizia. In his work, Historia Rerum Noricarum et Foro Iuliensium, the Jesuit scholar places Gorizia at the center of an area that extends from Veneto to Carinthia and Carniola. The Historia is written in the form of a chronicle. It believes in the supernatural, and it considers legendary elements, especially for the ancient and medieval history. But this is a distinctive feature of a historian of his time. It has been said that we can find in him an orientation, we could say a closeness to the Germanic identity, even if he recognized the multiculturalism of the county of Gorizia. We still have to wait about a century to get to the man who is considered the first historian of Gorizia Middle Ages. We are talking about Rodolfo Coronini, the best known personality of the Gorizia culture in the 18th century Europe. In his historical, genealogical, analytic work, he underlines the full membership of the Gorizia nobility to the empire. For this reason, he will later be considered as one of the Ostrophile authors in the local historiography. With the 19th century, the development of nationalistic issues is reflected in historiographical production. In this sense, we must remember the figure of Prospero Antonini and his work Il Friuli Orientale, 1865. According to him, the county of Gorizia had never been an imperial fief, but a concession of the Church of Aquileia. Antonini, one of the most important key players of the Italian Risorgimento, claimed that the county of Gorizia had always been an integral part of Friuli, like its eastern part. This is the idea of Great Friuli, Grande Friuli. On the other side, we find Karl von Cernig. In his multidisciplinary work, Das Land, Gürz und Gradiska, 1873, the historical aspects are predominant. As he knew at least a part of the medieval documents conserved in the imperial court and state archives of Vienna, von Cernig underlines the German character of the Middle Ages in Gorizia. In contrast with Antonini, he argued that the left side of Isonzo had never been part of Friuli. The topic of the feudal dependence of a county and of the fees of Gorizia in Friuli is essential. In those years, the Italian historiography had the desire to underline the subjection, at least juridical, of the county to the Patriarchate first and then to the Republic of Venice. Even immediately after the Second World War, some Italian-oriented authors, for example Venuti, criticized von Cernig because he tried to give a vision of a county that was too unbalanced in favor of a German imperial structure. The reason for controversy did not only concern the ownership of the fees, but also the relationship between the dynasty of the Counts of Gorizia and the Habsburgs. At the time, some Italian scholars were used to highlight the lack of harmony between the two families. The nationalistic approach has had serious repercussions on the town's historical memory. Even today, the two symbolic places of institutional belonging to the town, the castle and the municipal council hall, present two examples of evident historical forcing: the Lion of St. Mark and the large pictorial work depicting the feudal investiture of Count Henry IV in Venice in 1424. But, as Sergio Tavano said, the county of Gorizia was never, at least until 1500, subordinated neither juridically nor in the exercise of its sovereignty to Venice. More generally, we can agree with Tavano when he points out how the Counts of Gorizia have been judged negatively by a part of the Friulian historiography, like as an obstacle, a problem to the development of a patriarchate. Among the most prolific historians in the field of Friulian medieval studies, we must mention Pier Silverio Leit. The object of study becomes the town. Gorizia is seen as a new town, built after the destruction of a period of invasions. Its dual function as a fortified village and as a market center is in the wake of what was theorized by Pirenne and Planitz for Belgian and German cities. The topic of the birth of a town municipality is central too. It was created by concession of a Count Henry II, therefore with ways and characters more different than those that led to the development of Italian municipalities. Among the Slovenian-speaking historians, we cannot fail to mention Franz and Milko Kos. The first one was among the first Slovenian scholars who brought a modern methodology to historical research. He deepened the study of the Gorizia area with particular attention to the role played by some noble families and to the development of the Collio and Soukan settlements. Milko Kos' studies embrace, among other things, vast areas of the medieval history of Gorizia, from the relationship between the Patriarchate and the current Slovenian territory to the problems of a rural economy, from landed properties to toponymic and linguistic issues, with particular regard to the area of contact between the Slavic and Romance population. Celebrate his study on Urbari. If the first half of the 20th century marks a turning point for the numerous publications of documentary sources, during the second half of the same century, studies on the kinship relationship between the noble families of the German area and the dynasty on the Counts of Gorizia were deepened. Notable works include those by Hermann Wiesflecker, Heinz Dobsch, Reinhard Hartel, Kurt Karpf, Therese Meyer, Josef Riedmann, and Wilhelm Baum. On the Slovenian side, Peter Stich contributions are absolutely remarkable. His interest extended from the study of territorial arrangements in the early Middle Ages to studies on the development of the Gorizia area in its early stages, without forgetting the relationship between the possessions of the counts of Gorizia and ministerials. In my opinion, Micha Kosi's study on the development of the town of Gorizia can also be inserted in the wake of these studies. At the beginning of a new century, further contributions on the presence of Slavic and German ethnic elements in the area have been proposed. We can recall the works of Vojko Paulin, Peter Stich, and Brigitta Mader. In recent decades, the decline of local Italian studies on the Gorizia Middle Ages is really evident. There are a lot of reasons explaining this fact. The lack of public institutions dedicated to the promotion of historical studies, while the University of Udine and Trieste have provided marginal contributions. The disappearance of a historical role of the Musei Provinciali di Gorizia, whose activity is often far away from local cultural interests. The lack of public institutions dedicated to the conservation of archaeological heritage of the province. The decline of cultural institutions such as the Biblioteca Statale Isontina, whose future is extremely uncertain. The decline or absence of public cultural institutions in Gorizia has therefore prevented the formation of professional figures whose interests are oriented towards the history of our territory. Working on the medieval history of Gorizia obliges the researcher to consider an important quantity of documents dispersed in numerous archives. Consequentially, the traditional lack of knowledge of a German language and even more of a Slovenian language in Italy represent an obstacle. In light, I go to conclude. In light of these considerations, it is certainly no coincidence that in the last 50 years, the major contributions on the history of accounts of Gorizia come from Austrian or Slovenian authors. On a closer inspection, even for the previous decades, the most important historians are inserted in a multicultural European context, such as the Austrian imperial state was. Martin Bautzer, Rodolfo Coronini, Karl von Cernig, Franz Emil Kokos, with few exceptions. As Mark Bloch said, the trace becomes an effective path only if there is a subject animated by specific interests and intentions who promotes its investigations. The fact that the Italian Gorizia has sometimes lived in the idea of belonging to a multicultural context with detachment, if not revulsion, has had consequences in the field of research, but also in the construction of its memory. Even today, there is no town street dedicated to any member of a dynasty of the Counts of Gorizia. In 4 days, the 700th anniversary of the death of Count Henry II will occur. But the event will not be remembered. 500 years of history have been deliberately erased. Only when the last remnants of the 20th century have gone and the town has understood without prejudice the enormous cultural richness of its past, only then we will form a new generation of Italian historians ready to address the still open questions. Thank you very much for your attention.